Good morning, everyone. It's time to go on the record.
So what do you think? A market like this or a Velodrome?
Too soon for an Olympic zinger for Boston's Mayor Marty Walsh? Governor Baker didn't think so.
We're going to move on now because we have to create more opportunities for future generations of Bostonians.
Mayor Walsh, post-Olympic deflation, is our guest this morning on OTR. And
the decision handed down by the league yesterday is unfathomable to me.
Patriots owner Robert Kraft says he was played. Tom Brady says he's innocent. The next move is the courtroom, the eyes of the nation on the Patriots in this high-stake millionaires drama.
Trump mania, has it peaked?
From WCPP Boston, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ed Harding, along with News Center 5's political reporter Janet Wu. Thank you for joining us on OTR. It has been quite a week in sports for the Bay State, and a special week because with what all that happened to Tom Brady, we're going to begin this morning with Boston's Mayor Marty Walsh, who seems to have escaped relatively unscathed from the crash of Boston 2024. Tom Brady is second on our agenda this morning.
We have to go right to Tom Brady. Never mind the Olympics. Tom Brady is what matters.
But thank you for joining us.
So here's the big question moving forward. How confident are you that now that you talked a lot about Waddett Circle, is it Wydett or
Wydett.
Wydett Circle. You talked a lot about getting it developed. What about getting improvements there, getting improvements to the T, getting improvements sort of done to that crazy circle that's right next to UMass? How confident are you that these things will actually get done now within the next 10 years?
Well, the beauty about what happened here was that the 2024 actually paid for consultants to do a plan. And they spent probably a couple $1 million on the plan for Wydett Circle and for Kosciuszko Circle and for Harbor Point. And what that is, we can use those plans. And I think that that's money that saves the city taxpayers a planning process. We can have a beginning point now, and it's real. I mean, these are real potential opportunities here with Wydett Circle. And I was asked a lot of questions about tax breaks and what about are you going to give tax breaks to Wydett Circle? One of the reasons for giving the tax breaks under the Olympic plan was that a master developer who would develop that area would not be able to use that area for 10 years because they'd use it for the Olympics. Now we're talking about if we're able to come up with some type of idea for Wydett Circle, they don't have to wait the 10 years. They can build the deck on top eventually and then build development right after it. So it changes the economics of the deal as well.
But do you have developers lined up who are interested in doing this yet, or are you going to have to go out there and hunt for them?
No, we're going to have to go and talk about it. I think there's definitely some developers that express interest in Wydett Circle. I think some of their concerns might have been the Olympics, building a stadium there and then having it there till 2025 and coming down after the 2024 games. Now that that's not an option, now they can look at possibly developing this. So there's going to be many conversations about this particular area. It's in the heart of the city. It's undeveloped, about 67 acres of land that we kind of found by building a deck on top of what would be the Amtrak yard and the Public Works and Transportation. So there's really some excitement out of that potentially.
Let's talk about the Olympics. The USOC officials are claiming that Boston reneged on its original promises. Is that true? Or
no, I don't think. No, you know, I think almost a week now after the Olympic conversation, I've certainly moved on. I think that some of the rules and regulations that the IOC put on the USOC certainly didn't help. I mean, having a guarantee that covered every single penny of overrun. And I've been criticized of, you signed the original letter to say that there's going to be a guarantee. Yes, I did. I did that so we can move on in the discussion. If we didn't sign that letter, there's no 2024. There's no.
So signing that letter didn't mean you were signing on that you would agree that taxpayers.
What that letter said was I would have to sign a guarantee eventually at the end of the day in 2017 if we got chosen to say that we would cover any cost overruns of the Olympics or any excessive costs. We were working on a plan to come up with insurance so that we could cover any type of cost or any type of overrun that would happen. That's what we were working towards. That was what Steve Pagliuca in 2024 released about a week ago, the insurance plan, and we were vetting through that. We're vetting through Plan 2.0. So I'm not going to. I don't know who you can ultimately blame here. I think the rules on one side are very difficult for particularly United States cities to live up to, and I think even on the 2024 side, I think some adjustments need to be made earlier.
Can Los Angeles be included? I mean, what role did LA play in the demise of the USOC Boston 2024 relationship?
I don't know if they played any role other than the fact that the polling numbers are 80% favorable
in Los Angeles
for the Olympics. And I think that was a concern of the USOC. They wanted positive numbers, and we didn't have the positive numbers here because of all the concerns about the overruns and the cost. LA, in theory, people, 80% of the people said we want the Olympics. Now that there's a conversation, at least I've read there's a conversation going on, we'll see what the people of LA say now.
Well, here's my question. Do you think LA is going to have the same problems that you had here with Boston voters? Do you think there are going to be more questions than there were in '84?
I'm not sure if they're the same problems, but I do know that in the LA Times there was an article that the mayor was asked about signing the guarantee that I was asked to sign.
The mayor of LA,
and he said he'd have to look at the guarantee and see.
Yeah, so do you think there's going to be some uproar among taxpayers out there, or do you think it's a different demographic?
No, I think ultimately voters in the United States of America, people don't want to pay taxes. Some people will pay more taxes to go to social services and for upgrade and infrastructure, but I'm not sure if people want to pay taxes to put the Olympics.
You talked about, you originally signed the letter, and then, as time went on, whatever happened, yada, yada, yada. Last Monday, you came out firmly and said, I'm not going to guarantee it. Which came first? Let me ask you, which came first? Did you know the Olympic bid was already dead and you came out and said that, or did you say that because it's like 10 minutes later the Olympic bid was pulled?
Kind of putting a stake in the ground, saying that the biggest issue around what was floating here was me signing the guarantee. And I think the second issue was, is the governor, Senate President, and Speaker going to support the Olympic bid? And again, their issue comes down to taxpayers' dollars as well. So we put out there, right, this is it. We're not signing the guarantee if we don't have an insurance policy. We're not using taxpayers' dollars. I think if that story were told earlier, people in Boston and people would say, okay, wait a second. And I've said it. I said a lot. The mayor and our local government officials are looking out for our best interests. But again, the Olympic movement is so confusing in the sense of that we are used to watching on TV. We've never been part of putting it together. And probably that's why the United States
I've got to ask you, the thing, all of this centers on one key question. Would we end up with a deficit or a surplus if we held the games, okay? And in the past, the last few have had surpluses, but only because the federal government infused a lot of cash. This time, a lot of folks were saying, yes, they would take care of security, but they weren't going to give us any more money for infrastructure. They were not going to give us any more money for a lot of the extras because of the big dig and everything that happened.
We're not getting a lot of that money now, Congress, because we haven't been able to get together in the earmarks and the transportation bill haven't been able to come here. So I think by 2024 that might have changed. But ultimately, I think we would have had a surplus. I think that Steve Pagliuca and the business community in Boston, who are very smart, would have gotten together, put a very good, strong bid together. We were going to follow the 2020 agenda, which is a more economical games, and we would see what happened. I think that a lot of people are going to watch now in 2022 the Winter Olympics in Beijing. They're going to keep a close eye on that to see what the costs are, because 2 years later are going to be the 2024 Summer Games.
The smart part about that is they've had the Summer Games, so they're actually going to reuse Olympic facilities, which we started the show off with a joke from the governor. Isn't this a better use than a velodrome when he was in the market that's in Boston? Maybe it is a better use, right?
Yeah, well, I said to the governor last night, I said if I had gone into the market, 6 months ago, maybe that would have been the velodrome spot. We wouldn't have to. It wouldn't be the public market. I said you beat me to it last night.
All right, you ready for the OTR pop quiz?
We'll see what happens.
There's some confidence right there. Since the U.S. Olympic bid might be heading to Los Angeles, we certainly don't know that. Today's the OTR pop quiz is on your knowledge of the left coast. Question 1: when was the last time the Summer Olympics were held in Los Angeles?
84.
The games were opened by President Ronald Reagan, then the former governor of California. Question 2, the Democratic National Convention was held in L.A. Staples Center in August of 2000. The convention nominated Al Gore for president. Who was his vice presidential running mate in that convention?
Oh, my God. Hold on, give me a second.
Is this the part where we insert the Jeopardy music?
Why would I know that? Yeah.
Because he's from New England.
No, but I was in a campaign from Florida. How quickly we forget.
Well, it's
Lieberman.
Joe Lieberman of Connecticut. Very good. And I remember the Gord Lieberman narrowly lost to George W. Bush
Just under the
election.
buzzer.
We continue on the record with the mayor. Stay with us.